And a huge, warm, and absolutely electric welcome back to the deep dive. It is genuinely fantastic to have you here with us today.
It is great to be here.
Whether you are driving into the office, grabbing a quick coffee between client calls, or, maybe you're winding down after a long week, we are just so glad you've tuned in.
We have a really special session lined up.
We really do. We're going to tackle a topic that I know keeps a lot of our listeners up at night. If you're listening to this, there's a good chance you are running a business, probably in the tech space, and you know that feeling, building something great, getting momentum, but then just hitting that invisible wall.
Oh yeah, that wall is all too real. In the industry, we often call it the growth ceiling. And for the people we are talking to today, specifically the owners of managed service providers, MSPs, that ceiling isn't just invisible. It feels like it's made of concrete.
Exactly. You've done the hard work, you've built the trust, you've got the local clients, but taking that next step up, it looks, well, terrifyingly expensive.
It is.
And that is why I am so excited about the stack of documents we are unpacking today. We're looking at a strategic initiative that claims to not just crack that ceiling, but completely dismantle it.
A big claim.
A very big claim. We are doing a deep dive into the North American MSP strategic partner ecosystem. Now, I know that sounds like a mouthful of corporate speak, but stick with us because what's underneath is really fascinating.
It really is. It's a convergence of three major players: Bwired Technologies, Rhyno Cybersecurity, and Atomlabs. And they're coming together to solve a very specific headache for that local MSP owner.
And the mission of this deep dive is to explore exactly how this ecosystem works. The promise in the source material is pretty bold. They claim an MSP can instantly scale, offer enterprise-grade services, and, dominate their local market, all without losing their identity or control.
Which is the key part.
It is. So let's start with the problem. Why is this ceiling such a universal struggle for these business owners?
Well, if you look at the economics of a small to mid-sized MSP, you are constantly trading time for money. To grow, you need to hire. But there's a trap. Let's say you want to move up market. You want to service a regional bank or a hospital chain. Those clients demand heavy hitters. They need Tier 3 engineers. They need 24/7 security monitoring. They need compliance officers.
Right. You can't just send the guy who fixes the printers to handle a bank's compliance audit.
Exactly. So you're stuck. To win the business, you need the experts. But to afford the experts, you need the business. You have to hire this expensive talent before you have the revenue to pay for them.
That is a massive risk.
A huge risk. You're taking on massive payroll overhead and just praying the deal closes. That fear, that's the ceiling. It keeps MSPs small because they're afraid to make that leap.
It's the classic chicken and egg problem, but with your life savings on the line.
Pretty much.
So this strategic partner ecosystem presents itself as the solution. But I want to be clear right off the bat, because I know our listeners are skeptical, is this just another vendor relationship? Am I just buying a license for some software and reselling it?
The sources are very, very adamant that this is not a vendor relationship. They describe it as joining a unified technology ecosystem.
Okay.
The metaphor they use in the documentation is actually quite brilliant. They say the local MSP, that's you, the listener, provides the steering.
The steering. Okay, I like that.
You know the roads. You
Yeah.
know the destination. You know the client's culture, their kids' names. You own the relationship. But the ecosystem, it provides the enterprise-grade engine.
I love that. So you are in the driver's seat, hands on the wheel, full control. But instead of a lawnmower engine under the hood, you suddenly have a Formula One powertrain.
Precisely. And that powertrain is built on three distinct pillars. You mentioned them earlier. Bwired Technologies handling infrastructure, Rhyno Cybersecurity for defense, and Atomlabs for research and development.
Let's drill down into each of these because this is where the rubber meets the road. Let's start with Rhyno Cybersecurity. Now, every MSP offers security. I install an antivirus, I set up a firewall, I'm done, right?
Historically, maybe. But the landscape has shifted so dramatically, the bad guys are sophisticated, so the defense needs to be too. What makes this partnership unique is that Rhyno isn't just selling a tool set. They are providing a fully staffed security operations center and 24/7, 365 monitoring.
I want to pause on that because the terminology matters. We aren't just talking about software that sends an email if a virus is found. We're talking about a physical security operations center with human beings in it.
Correct. We're talking about eyes on glass, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Real people.
Okay. Let's talk about the economics of that for a second. If I'm a local MSP with 10 employees, can I build my own security operations center?
Mathematically. It is almost impossible. I mean, to run a true 24/7 monitoring operation, you need shifts. Morning, evening, overnight, weekends, holidays.
Right.
You need a minimum of, say, 8 to 10 highly skilled analysts just to keep the chairs warm. Plus, the threat intelligence feeds, the infrastructure, the management. You are talking hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of dollars a year in overhead.
It would wipe out your profit margin instantly.
Instantly. So by plugging into this ecosystem, the MSP instantly gains that capability without the capital expenditure. You can look your client in the eye and say, we have a team watching your network every single second of the day.
That is an immediate jump in credibility.
A huge one.
That is a huge differentiator. Okay, let's move to the second pillar, Atomlabs. This one really stood out to me because I don't usually hear R&D and local IT shop in the same sentence.
You rarely do, and that's what makes this so interesting. Most local MSPs are reactive. They fix things that break. They keep the lights on. They don't have the time or, the staff to experiment or build custom software. Atomlabs brings high-level R&D and specialized development to the table.
So give me a concrete example. How does a local MSP actually use this in the real world?
Okay, imagine you have a client in logistics. They've got a fleet of trucks, and they're using 5 different spreadsheets to track inventory. It's a total mess.
I can picture it.
And they ask you, hey, can we automate this? Can we build an app for the drivers?
And the standard MSP answer is usually, sorry, we don't do that. We fix computers.
Right. You leave money on the table.
Yeah.
But with Atomlabs as your partner, you can say, actually, yes, let me bring in our development division. Atomlabs can build that custom solution. Suddenly, you aren't just the people who fix the printer.
You're the people who solved a fundamental business workflow problem. You become a strategic asset, not just a utility bill.
Exactly. And the margins on custom dev and R&D are significantly higher than on standard desktop support. So you are increasing your value and your profitability.
I like that. Okay, third pillar is Bwired Technologies. The sources talk about Tier 3 plus support and this idea of infinite scalability. What does that look like?
This directly addresses the fear of success we talked about earlier, the panic hire. Let's say you land that massive contract, a regional hospital system with 2,000 users.
Panic mode initiated.
Usually, yes. You'd be scrambling to find engineers, onboarding them, hoping they're good. But Bwired acts as an overflow valve. They provide the infrastructure support and handle the heavy lifting. If a project outgrows your current staff, Bwired steps in.
So you don't have to hire.
You don't have to hire, you utilize the ecosystem.
So it's like having an army in reserve. You don't pay for them when they're sitting in the barracks, but the minute you need them, they are ready to deploy.
That is a very apt analogy. It creates an elastic workforce. Your capacity expands when you need it and contracts when you don't. It removes the risk from growth.
No, I want to get into the weeds of the relationship dynamic here because I can hear the hesitation in some of our listeners' minds. They're thinking, okay, this sounds great, but if Bwired is doing the infrastructure and Rhyno is doing the monitoring, am I just a middleman? Am I losing my business identity?
And this is the most critical part of the source material. They are incredibly explicit about this. The goal is brand retention. You keep your name. You keep your logo. You keep your business autonomy.
So I'm not being acquired. I'm not selling my company to them.
No, not at all. The phrase they use is, we aren't here to replace you. We're here to make you irreplaceable. You remain the face of the partnership.
100% control of the relationship.
100%. You send the invoice, you make the phone calls, you own that contract.
And here's where the nuance comes in. The sources mention we aren't hiding this partnership, right? This isn't some secret thing where we pretend we built the security operations center in our basement.
Correct. And this is a really modern approach. In the past, everyone tried to hide their vendors, but this ecosystem encourages transparency. The clients will know that you are part of this massive national conglomerate.
Which to me actually sounds like a massive selling point.
It is entirely a selling point. I mean, think about it from the client's perspective.
Yeah.
They love you because you're local, you're responsive, you care. But they worry. What if you get by a bus?
Yeah.
What if your lead engineer quits? What if you run out of cash?
It's the key man risk. It's the #1 reason big companies hesitate to hire small MSPs.
Exactly. By being transparent and saying, I am your local partner, I have 100% control, but I am backed by the Bwired, Rhyno, and Atomlabs ecosystem, you eliminate that fear. You give them the intimacy of a small business with the stability and resources of a giant.
The resources of a giant, but the soul of a local business. That is a powerful combination. It basically tells the client, I'm not just a guy in a van. I'm a local anchor for a North American network.
That's it. It validates the MSP as a serious player. It lets you punch way above your weight class.
I want to circle back to the financial side. We talked about saving money on hiring, but the sources also mention revenue expansion. How does this ecosystem actually put more cash in the owner's pocket?
There are two main levers here. First is what we've touched on, this idea of a collective bench. This is about cost avoidance. You don't have the fixed cost of a huge staff just sitting around waiting for work. You scale on demand.
So your payroll doesn't bloat, but your capacity does.
Right. But the second lever is revenue per seat. This is about wallet share.
Break that down for us.
It means looking at your existing clients, the people already paying you, and finding more ways to serve them. Right now, you might just be getting their support budget, but their security budget, that might be going to someone else.
Or they might not be spending it at all because you didn't offer the service.
That's usually it. So now you can go to your loyal client and say, hey, we can now offer full 24/7 security operations center monitoring.
And sell it to them?
Exactly. You can sell these high-margin services like the monitoring or the custom dev from Atomlabs to your existing database.
Yeah.
You're making more money from the same relationship without spending a dime on marketing.
That is the holy grail of business efficiency. Upselling is always cheaper than acquisition.
And because these are premium services, they command premium prices. You aren't fighting a price war over who can fix a laptop the cheapest. You are selling high-value business outcomes.
There's another concept in the notes called the collective bench regarding overflow. Can we expand on that?
Sure, it's part of that infinite scalability. The collective bench is essentially the network of talent across the entire ecosystem.
Okay.
Let's say you have a client with a very specific niche problem. Maybe
Okay.
they have an old mainframe system that needs maintenance. You probably don't have an engineer for that,
Definitely not, no.
but someone in the ecosystem does.
Right.
You can tap into that bench. It means you never have to say no to a client request. You just say, let me activate the network.
Activate the network. Sounds very superhero-esque. But it raises a question. Is this for everyone? Can any computer repair shop just sign up and say, I'm part of the ecosystem?
No, and that is a crucial distinction. The source material emphasizes this is an exclusive opportunity. They are not looking for everyone. They're looking to select premier groups of small to mid-sized MSPs to become what they call local anchors.
Local anchors. That implies geography.
It does. They are very serious about territory exclusivity. They want their partners to have room to grow. They aren't going to put 5 partners in the same zip code fighting over the same scraps.
Ah, okay.
They want one dominant partner in a region who they can pour resources into.
That makes sense. They want you to win, so they give you the lane to run in.
Exactly. They're vetting based on technical excellence, but more importantly, a growth mindset. They want owners who are actually ready to run with this engine. If you're happy just staying small, this probably isn't for you. This is for the MSP owner who wants to dominate their market.
So there is a vetting process. It's not just a sign-up form on a website.
Correct. It involves a real conversation.
So let's bring this all together. We have the growth ceiling, a painful reality. We have this solution that combines infrastructure, security, and R&D into an engine you can bolt onto your business. You stay in control, you keep your brand, but you get the credibility and backing of a national network.
And you transition from being a vendor to being a true strategic partner. You become capable of handling anything your clients can throw at you.
It really does sound like a shift in mindset as much as a shift in operations.
It is. It's a shift from scarcity, I don't have enough people, I don't have enough time,
Yeah.
to abundance. I have the network, I have the technology, I have the support.
So for the listener who is nodding along, maybe pacing around their office right now thinking, this is exactly what I've been looking for, what is the next move?
The next step, according to the sources, is a discovery session. And I really appreciate how they frame this. It's not a high-pressure sales pitch. It's a one-on-one meeting to discuss the specifics.
And what actually happens in that meeting?
They cover the practical stuff business owners care about. They talk about revenue split structures, which are performance-based. They talk about operational workflows. How does the Security Operations Center actually alert you? How does ticketing work? And most importantly, they look for a cultural fit.
That cultural fit is key. You are entering into a long-term partnership. You want to make sure your values align.
Absolutely. But the invitation is clear. If you are tired of the ceiling, if you want to compete with the global consulting firms but keep your local soul, you need to take that meeting.
Looking at the final notes here, there is a sentiment from the source material that really sums up the value proposition perfectly. It says this structure is designed to reassure owners that they are gaining an empire, not losing their identity.
That is the core of it. You have spent years building your reputation. You shouldn't have to sacrifice it to grow. This model suggests you can keep it and just make it stronger.
Keep the wheel, they provide the engine.
And together you go a lot faster.
Gaining an empire. That is a fantastic place to leave it. If you are an MSP owner and you feel that ceiling pressing down on you, maybe it's time to stop pushing against it alone.
Indeed. The tools are there. The ecosystem is waiting. The question is, are you ready to pick up the phone?
Thank you so much for walking us through this today. It has been a real eye-opener on how the industry is shifting and how local businesses can stay competitive.
My pleasure. It is an exciting time to be in this space.
And to you listening, thank you for giving us your time. We hope this sparks some ideas for your own business. If this resonated, I strongly encourage you to check out the show notes and book that discovery session. It might just be the conversation that changes everything. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and we'll see you on the next deep dive.